Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today, sorry, today we're going to be looking at another William thing. So, all I can say is you guys have been having too much fun with the fact that I'm freezing. It is not my fault. Okay. So, okay. That blue jacket is over there. So I'm doing something a little different today. We're going a little different, okay? I am I'm having an Eras Tour moment. I am having a Willow moment. And you know what? I feel like the more that William says, the less I will know. For those of you who get the reference. So wait for the signal and I'll meet you after dark. Anyways, I don't think I'm going to go to witch hat territory. I don't think so. But this is still witchy-ish. So we're witch light today, but not really. I'm just cold. And so we're going with it. And maybe you guys will finally believe I'm indoors. Okay, fine. Is this indoors enough? Is it? That's my question. I will say it's really warm. And I also have to say, you guys have me dying with the comments on the last William video. I was dying. I just want you to know. I loved them. You guys are so funny. And that's all I need to say. I was dying through some of them. I just can't always reply because I'm like, I'm like constantly filming them and all that. So I'm always like the next one. But I was like, those comments were fire. We got to go back to William, period. So we're here. Okay. Ditch the annual diet. If weight loss dieting works long term, why do you have to start again every January? Oh gosh, I don't know. What a mystery. So we're gonna go ahead and see. I also just have to say, remember you guys, William is a Swiftie. And I am so good at fighting Swifties. I told you, it takes one to know one. It takes one to know one. Period. Now, let's go. The holiday season brings with it festive food, festive drinks, and hordes of comments about how much festive food and festive drink you ingest. As the holiday season comes to a close and we all start the arduous annual journey to recover from whatever horrors it brought with it, we are asked to make resolutions to have a happy new year. What? Recover from whatever horrors it brought with it. Gosh. I thought I was negative. Goodness. Some of these people, man. I mean, it takes a lot to be more negative than me. Like, maybe not these days, but certainly in my Tortured Mo era, certainly when I was Smo on this channel, I was pretty negative. But that kind of still blows me away a little bit. I'm not as negative now. But, wow. That's all I can say is wow. We ring it in watching people decked out in the signature colors of New Year's, purple and yellow. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, those are the signature colors of Planet Fitness, the company that sponsors just about all of the Times Square merchandise. It serves as an unavoidable reminder that you are expected to show up to the gym hungover on January 1st, and that when you don't, you're a failure for having spoiled your resolution to work out and eat right every day already. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Those of us who grew up steeped in diet culture are no strangers to resolutions to lose weight. A New Year's diet can feel like home. We find ourselves nostalgic for its abuses. Oh my gosh. Whew, you need to go back to theater class, William. This is dramatic. Again, he is making me feel like, I don't even know. Like, I feel like I'm being out-dramaed and out-negatived in one thing, like in one go. It's like, damn, William. Jeez. The guilt and shame you are made to feel during the holidays makes you a perfect target for the diet and exercise industries to make obscene amounts of money off of your vulnerability. Market Data LLC reported last year that the weight loss industry, was worth $90 billion in 2023 and cited that increase was in part due to the rising popularity of GLP-1s like Ozempic and Wegovy. While we do not yet have reported data on 2024 yet, we know that it only increased, and it's no wonder. The weight loss industry has a brilliant business model. Evil, yes, but brilliant. Convince people they are the failures, not you. Oh my gosh. Okay, the thing that kills me so much about William in this article specifically, or in this diary entry, I don't know. Sorry. I'm just saying, William, the tone is not very academic. I'll just put it to you that way. It's okay, I guess, but I'm gonna call it a diary entry. I would say, like, he thinks he's being so fresh and interesting, but it's like you're saying everything that everybody else says all the time. Like, I have heard these talking points at least 500 bajillion times while I've been doing this anti-fat acceptance activism. They're constantly debunked. Constantly. People constantly bring up the fast food industry, for example, and it makes way more. And all these different things, it's not that great of a criticism. I will say it again here. It isn't that great of a criticism. It's super easy to be thrown back at you. It's very, very easy. You know, it's an even better strategy is to convince people that they're not the problem. To convince people that it's always other people's fault. And tell them what they want to hear. That's an even better strategy. According to decades of peer-reviewed research, weight loss is nearly impossible for most people. 95 to 97% of people who pursue intentional weight loss will regain all of the weight they lost in that period. Around 66% of those people will gain back more weight than they lost, giving their body weight a new natural set point. Oh, man. Oh, we're really going there. Are we going there? Hold on. I'm going to need to get a diatribe going here. This is going to be a minute. 1 second. Life was a willow and it bent right to your wind. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Let's go ahead and have a willow moment. We're about to get some magic, some witchcraft out here. Okay. According to William, I'm actually a witch because I have committed magic. I have defied all scientific explanation. And I think it's really, really important to talk about again, because we got to debunk every time. So I don't know if you guys can see, but this is a little thing that is my weight tracked over time. Now, I know my screen is busted. It is the screen protector. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. Yes, I should have changed it years ago. No, I didn't. And I'm still not going to. We're going to be so for real. And yes, I'm too busted to put it on the actual big screen. You know what? Let's switch. Let's switch over. That way we can see it a little better. So this is from 2022. I'm just going to have you look at the shape of the graph, okay? This starts in August. I'm like, is my nail dirty? I'm like, that's going to be too busted. It isn't. I think it's fine. Anyways, starts in August, okay? Goes down. Then we get to November. It's too hard. I go up in December. Then I went down in January because I told you for some reason I have an easier time in hearing in January. Or, you know, Capricorn time. Then went back up in February. Then this is 2023. Okay. So you guys are probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's set point. Oh my gosh, totally. But look at the story. Look at it. Huh? Look at that witchcraft. That witchcraft is 2023. Life was a willow and it bent right to your wind. My weight was a willow and it bent right to my wind, apparently, because I don't know. Look at that. That's 2023. Gosh, you know, where's the set point? Where is it? I thought it was supposed to go all the way back up to here. That's witchcraft. What's going on? Okay. That's all 2023. You guys saw that. I was doing the activism. This part, this is the end of January 2024. Okay, so I had gone up, like I told you, about 305. Then here. So then you're thinking, okay, well, you stopped there. Set point theory, it caught you there. It caught you there. Not necessarily. Then we have 2024. Where's that set point? Where is it? Where is it? Where's the set point? I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Okay, and here we are. So you see the weight gain again in winter. But you see, the crazy thing about this weight gain, it never went all the way back to here. It didn't happen. Where is that? It didn't go all the way back. It didn't. It didn't go all the way back. And guess what? By the end of the month, this number will be a little bit further down. Because I told you, a lot of it in the winter is water. It's water and constipation. But then it comes down. So I'm just saying, where's the set point, William? Where is it? That's why I really do think it's important to track your weight year over year. You can see I lost a lot in, gosh, I'm so paranoid about my nails. You can see I lost a lot in October. That's where that huge slump was. That's because I lost a lot of fluid in October. And then it stagnated, and then it went back up. But like I said, where's that set point? And I'm sure the story will continue. My weight will continue to be a willow that bends right to my wind. Or whim, or whatever the hell the lyrics are. I feel like whim is better. But I think it's wind. Sorry, Taylor. I should have written that one for you. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, I'm just saying, track your weight over time because it's really important. Yeah, it is wind. Damn it, Taylor. I like whim better. Anyways, okay. Take that, track it every single year because it helps you. That way when you deal with a William, you know that he's full of shiitake mushrooms. And then you can just say, the more that you say, the less I know. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, but wherever he strays, we don't follow. Okay? Wherever you stray, I don't follow. I don't follow you, William. I don't. Anyways, because that's not my man. Period. But anyways, let's continue. So I think he's trying to tell me that I am this special, 5%. I'm doing witchcraft every year, every January. Suddenly, when the weight doesn't shoot all the way back up, I'm having a moment. No. What tends to happen is people get hungry in the winter. They get tired. And I told you, the two enemies of weight loss, the two physical enemies of weight loss are hunger and tiredness. Those two things, they make it hard to work out. It's hard to continue to lose weight or diet. And a lot of people bloat up. And when they bloat up, then they give up. They get demoralized and they completely give up. And then they just eat and eat and eat. And then they go all the way back up. The other thing I think is important to look at is how often are people in these studies, people who have E followed by the letter D. Because they need to do studies that test for people who don't have it. And I think the results would be a lot more different than that. I think people who have E followed by the letter D, they tend to regain the weight. Because the logic behind it and the logic behind their way of thinking is not successful. Because again, weight loss is one part physical and one part mental. And if the mental part is weak, it will undermine. If the physical part is weak, it will undermine. You have to keep both in mind. So you have to keep your nutrition profile up. For example, you have to know when to rest, know when to move. You have to think of weight loss as driving a car, right? There's times where you have to speed up, slow down, turn, right? All that type of stuff. it's a process. It takes time. And from a very big size, for most people, I would say especially when you get older, when you're over 25, etc., it's going to take longer usually. Usually. It's going to take longer than that. I lost 200 pounds in 1 year. That doesn't mean it's the case for everybody, but it is the case for most people. It's usually a slower process. And that's okay, because remember, when it comes to weight, the most important thing is your momentum, or where you're headed. I'm actually sweating a little bit with this. That's good. That means I'm actually warm. So you have to keep your momentum in mind. You need your weight to bend to your wind, okay? Weight was a willow that bent right to your wind. It's momentum. Which way is the wind blowing, right? Which way is it headed? That's what's important, because it's not so much the short term that matters, it's the long-term trajectory that matters. That's what matters. So don't worry. Don't worry. And keep the seasonal aspect in mind. If you have to take out a cloak because it's too cold, there could be some effects going on, okay? But remember, those effects are totally reversed later, so they're not an excuse. And you can still lose weight in the winter if you count your calories and go to the gym and all that stuff. You absolutely can. It just, in some cases, it may take longer to show, because you might have to wait till you de-poof or the water weight comes off, all that stuff, things speed back up. That's when you're going to know. So it's like momentum. Where's the wind blowing? Okay? That's what you have to pay attention to. Because most of these studies, they're very short term. They're usually short term. Ooh, it's usually, not me, like totally messing this up. It's usually like a 12-week study or something like that. The vast majority of the time, which doesn't mean every single study, but a lot of them it is. A lot, okay? They're short term. So, and again, the very, very long studies I've seen, they do not factor out E followed by the letter D. They should have to be tested for that to not be a part of the study, because it will skew the data, which I think is what happened, okay? Because it's not witchcraft, William and others. It's the fact that I don't have E followed by the letter D anymore. And now my weight is a willow, okay? I'm telling you. It's how it works. And that's how it works. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to do like every single Taylor reference ever. But, and that's how it works. That's how you lose the weight. Okay? No, I'm just kidding. He would be so mad. I'm telling you. I have to sometimes as a Swiftie, because I know it stings. I know it does. And that is the part of me that's a bitch. Like Taylor. Taylor kind of is too. Which is why I love her. I will always say that. Period. Anyways, okay. Let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. The new weight their body metabolically strives to maintain. Myth. This is fat acceptance folklore. I'm telling you, I'm really on one today. I'm sorry to all my non-Swifties. I know this is cringy. I know it is. I know it's bad, but I can't help it. I'm on one now. This is fat acceptance folklore. It's folklore, okay? No. This is important to note because the entire industry rests on successfully gaslighting you. No, your whole thing successfully gaslights people into set point theory. That isn't real. Again, unless if I'm magic. I'm witchcraft. I don't know. I don't know. What is it? What is it, William? Explain it. I want him to explain it. Explain it away. Anyways, into believing that the everyman is capable of weight loss and that you are the statistical anomaly if you cannot lose weight and keep it off. You're not a statistical anomaly, babes. You just may have E followed by the letter D. You might need to look at that. You may have some hormonal disorders that you're not looking at. Those are two very important things to look into. Again, we need physical support and mental support in weight loss. If you have an underlying hormonal issue, most hormonal issues involved with weight can be treated, and they're not an excuse. You're choosing not to treat it. Okay? And if you can't treat it right away, then you work on treating it. Like I said, where's the wind blowing? Where are you headed? Where are you headed? Which way is the willow tree bending? That's what matters. Okay? I'm not going to judge you if you're like, well, I'm hypo, but I'm trying to get my medication. I can't right now. I'm trying to work out my insurance, whatever. Okay. I get you. It can be hard sometimes, but you work on it. You get it together. You change your lifestyle. There are often naturopathic ways too. If it's a different type of thing, there are ways to mitigate a lot of things. If you're subclinical or if it's not that bad, there are ways of treating certain things. For example, let me throw this one out there. If you are diabetic, exercise can be extremely helpful, especially weightlifting. It can be very helpful to help manage the condition. I'm not saying it's an answer for everything, but it is something helpful that you can start pretty much immediately, and you should continue to do. Okay? So I think people they're always looking for like an excuse. And a lot of times people use physical issues as an excuse, but that is lazy. It is genuinely lazy. And we do need to get better at recognizing these issues in the medical system. That is something that I do think we can talk about and all that stuff, and it's important, and people should look for it, especially in super morbidly obese people. You should be screened. You should be tested. It should be one of the first questions, including a psychological evaluation for if you have E followed by the letter D, which is a lot more likely if you're super morbidly obese, because these are genuine barriers to weight loss, but there are things to be done. There are ways to get past them. It isn't like impossible. It just isn't. It just isn't. So do something about it. And like I said, which way is the wind blowing? Where are you headed? That's what matters. Don't sit there and have excuses. Set point theory is crap. It's bullshit. Bullshit. ED theory. Hypo theory. I've called it so many different things. I have so many other theories. But set point theory is not it. It's not real. Like I said, unless if he's trying to convince me I'm walking on water or something, I guess. Anyways. Okay. Weight loss is impossible for most people. No. Rejected. Thumbs down. But we have all been brainwashed into believing that it isn't true. Wherever you stray, William, I will not follow. No. We're not doing it. You're not my man. No. Or that we should be the exception to the statistical rule. You're the one trying to tell me I'm an exception. You're the one trying to make me out to be Clara Bow, William. I'm not. It's you. You're the one that's telling me I look like Taylor Swift in this light. I don't think I'm that special. I don't. I really, really don't. I was super morbidly obese for over 10 years. I've been fat for basically probably a little under, like around 25 years. I've been fat. Oh, gosh. We don't need to talk about that. No, I'm just kidding. I've been fat for a minute. Okay? It's been a minute. So they always say, like, Aubrey, we just don't have an answer for people who've been fat their whole lives. And, you know, we just don't have a way for people who've been fat their whole lives to lose the weight and keep it off. And people who are super morbidly obese, they tend to stay obese forever. Oh, Aubrey, I'm going to be committing an act of magic, apparently, this year because I'm slated to get out of obesity probably sometime in the spring or maybe even late winter. Huh? I'm slated to be not a spring breaker this year, but an obesity breaker, which again defies fat acceptance folklore. It defies it. It's not true. It isn't true. Okay. If calories in, calories out worked and your body was actually the calculator fitness guru's assisted is, all you have to do to lose weight is diet one time and then maintain a perfect equilibrium on both sides of the calories in, calories out equation going forward. You shouldn't gain weight the second you exit a calorie deficit, burning more calories than you take in, but you do. Why? Because your metabolism fights to get you back to the weight you were before your diet. This is not true unless if you starved yourself. If you starved yourself, then your weight is going to have a lot of issues in regard to you probably induced a hypothyroid state because you may have nutrient deficiencies and things like that. And that does make it easier to gain weight. But guess what? It typically normalizes. You have to keep your thyroid in mind. If you have a history of an E followed by the letter D, you may have damaged it. That's what happened to me. So you have to start treating it. And then these things don't happen. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't. So, because you get full. You get a lot more full. When your hormone issues are treated, you get full. You can't. You have to force yourself to eat. Which the only way you can force yourself is if you have a psychological issue that we've been talking about. So if you treat both sides of that, then you're not going to go back up. You're just not. And if you don't have an E followed by the letter D, then you're not going to go back up. Period. Unless if you have a really bad hormone issue, which again, you need to treat. You need to figure it out. That is your specific situation that you're in, and you need to take responsibility for that because it doesn't just affect your weight. When you have hormone problems, it is not just your weight that is affected. It's all of your systems. It's not something you should just let go and be like, oh, whatever, I don't care because I don't care about being fat. It damages a bunch of systems. When you, like, if you just have diabetes and it's not treated at all, and you're just like, whatever, that does a lot of damage. It does. Same thing with hypothyroidism. It does a lot of damage to a lot of different systems. It's important. Now, I will always say if you have E followed by the letter D, aka toxic ritualistic behaviors, you have to stop that first because it will undermine any of your treatments. You will trip out about it. You'll get weird. You have to fight it. And obviously, you can fight multiple things at once, but that disorder should be your top priority because it will undermine everything. You will get weird. You'll start being like, oh, maybe I shouldn't take this anymore. And maybe this. And, oh, maybe I'm trying to lose weight unfairly or something. I don't know. I don't even know. You just start thinking weird fat acceptancy thoughts because you're having a disordered moment. So you have to get real and get into reality. Otherwise, yes, you will gain the weight back. That is what will happen. That's what happens. Okay. Anyways. So, is it your metabolism or is it your disorder? That's the first question. Did you do some horrible diet that is very deficient in nutrition? Which again, why would you? That would take it back to the disorder. Your disorder fights to get you back to the weight you were. There we go. I fixed it for you. Fixed it for you, William. Your body has recognized your diet as a period of starvation. And it wants you back to where it felt safe. The body does not want to be super morbidly obese. You don't feel very good in that state. Your body doesn't like it. It really doesn't. When I started to normalize my hormone issues, like hypo, for example, through changing lifestyle, all these different things that I did, which I did a lot of stuff, mostly trying to bring down the excess estrogen and get nutrition up and do all these things and not take a part in toxic ritualistic behaviors for an extended period of time. It takes a while to recover. Then my appetite went way down because my body didn't want to be. It didn't want to be super morbidly obese. My body's like, no, gross. No, I'm just kidding. No, the body, no, literally though, like your sense of disgust, it goes up really high sometimes when you're losing weight because your body doesn't want to be at that level. It just doesn't. So, again, treat the hormone issues you have, get out of the disordered mindsets, and you'll be like, ooh, I'm full. I don't want to eat. Like, I'm fine. And I never was like under eating at all. Like, I've always counted and everything. But there were times where I'd be like, okay, like, I'm just going to eat whatever I want today. And I just could not eat that much. I would get really disgusted if I was going to keep eating and I get to a point where I wanted to throw up. And it's like, I don't have that issue. And so it's like, I'm not going to eat that much because I don't have a psychological reason to do so. So it just isn't going to happen. So guess what? It never happens. It hasn't happened ever in a very long time. Like, the first time I noticed that shift was in the spring of 2023. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't just eat a lot anymore. Like, I get grossed out. I'm getting disgusted. So it's like, it happens, you know, and people will say too, like, your stomach shrinks and things like that. That might be true as well. I don't really know. But when you don't have the psychological underpinning to push yourself past a certain point anymore, then you're just not going to. So you don't gain all the weight back. Your set point shifts. It changes because it's not really real. That's why. Okay, let's continue. Okay. For 66% of us, it wants more weight on you than you had before so that it can be prepared to keep you alive next time it doesn't have access to food. No. So this would have to do with people who are hypo, who possibly were doing very nutrient deficient diets or cutting out certain macros too much, doing too much. That's what we'll call it. And it can affect your thyroid health. And so it makes weight gain easier because you're hungrier. So you eat more. He never talks about that, but that is true. And then once it normalizes again, then you stop. Then the weight settles at a higher point. Because what your body will typically try to have you do is maintain. So typically, if you're trying to gain weight or you're trying to lose weight, it will take effort. That is a typical thing. If your hormones are all off, like in the case of a lot of people with PCOS, for example, they could have insulin resistance issues or just a lot of times hypothyroidism as well. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on with PCOS, and you're just slightly hungrier than the amount of calories your body needs. And in that case, you can put on weight over a long period of time if you don't have E followed by the letter D, but you still have this very rough hormone issue that needs to be addressed. It has to be dealt with in some kind of way. Because our systems, when functioning correctly, we will eat to maintenance, basically. You will eat to maintenance, then you'll get full. There have been many times that I've stopped counting, like in December, for example, I stopped counting. I didn't count calories at all. What happens? You eat a lot a few days, then your appetite's like, oh, and then you start eating less, and then you basically reach an equilibrium, and you naturally don't want to eat as much. And for me, specifically, I do a pro-thyroid diet, or I've been very cognizant of my thyroid health. And I try to keep nutrition up, and I try to take all these steps to support my thyroid as I've lost weight. So when I'm not counting, it's like my thyroid isn't fried. So it's like I don't want to eat more than, like, I don't have that same physical need to eat that I used to when I would, like, for example, cut way too many calories. It's like I think back in the day, like back in 2012, I tried to lose weight by counting calories. I was, 300 and maybe like around 350. And my app was telling me to eat like 2,000, which is too low. It's probably too low. So I would try to eat it and I would be starving, absolutely ravenous. When in reality, what I ended up eating probably around 350, what I needed to eat was like around 2,700, 2,800, something like that. And that was doable. It's like you have to be realistic. And if you go too far, you will have thyroid problems. Like I told you, your body needs to have some kind of calories and some kind of nutrients coming in. And people always forget thyroid health, but it's a part of your metabolism. So if you fry it, or you do put yourself into a survival mode by being nutrient deficient or cutting your calories way too low, there can be a period where it's easier to gain through increased appetite physically. But remember, if you have the toxic ritualistic thing going on, it won't matter. It doesn't matter how you feel physically. You're going to just eat and eat and eat anyways because you have a psychological drive to do so that isn't based in physical reality, that isn't based on how hungry you are. So that's why I always say that's the most important piece of the puzzle. But yes, there is a hormone piece. Absolutely. Both of them are important. Both sides of it are important. So basically all I'm trying to say is this is a lot more nuanced than what William is making it out to be. There are paths ahead, even if the paths are not always straightforward. They exist, period. It is a choice to be fat, period. It is. Okay. You might be thinking, well, GLP-1s aren't a diet. Where do they come into this? You're right, they're not diets themselves, but they are functionally appetite suppressants when prescribed for weight loss. Your body is going to experience GLP-1 induced weight loss the same way it experiences other weight loss that occurs when food is restricted. It is going to gain it all back and possibly more to prepare for the next time it is starved. This completely depends on the quality of your diet. This completely depends on how much muscle you have. Remember, there are physical aspects to weight loss too. It is not just mental, it is also physical. Muscle helps you not regain on a physical level. It is extremely important to lift weights, especially if you're taking a GLP-1. It's very important. Because otherwise, yeah, you can. Because if you lose a lot of muscle, then your metabolism will be slower because you lost muscle too. So it's important to keep muscle in mind as well. That's a part of the physical profile, which guess what? I've gained a lot of muscle throughout my weight loss. Muscle is important. It's very important. Okay. Anyways, let's continue. Your body doesn't recognize the moral social criticism it is receiving for being of a larger size. From your body's perspective, it is protecting you by maintaining or increasing your size. Through what, William? Through what? Oh, gosh, it drives me nuts. It cares about keeping you alive and having enough energy to support the functions it undertakes to do so. Your diet isn't working because your body doesn't want it to work. That's not true. Your disorder doesn't want it to work. Love how I'm correcting it for him. Because sometimes when you have this disorder, you're addicted to failure. You're addicted to the drama of it. And what are you going to do if the issue's resolved? Then what? What are you going to think about? I don't know. That's too much of a vacuum. I can't handle that. So I'll make sure it doesn't work. And remember, sometimes these thoughts are subconscious and you need to be more aware of the stuff that your disorder is doing. That is a disordered thing as well. I can keep throwing it back at you, William, this whole time. I can. You are fighting tooth and nail with nature. No, with your disorder. But you do it due to healthism. Okay, that sounds stupid. So I'm not even going to go there. But no. Oftentimes, if we're talking about people who are severely overweight, who are really fighting, they're fighting with the disorder, not nature. And remember, having a pathological hormone issue is also not nature. That's not the way it's meant to be. So you try to treat it. You do your best to treat, mitigate, change lifestyle to get it under control. Because remember, it isn't just your weight that it's affecting. It's affecting a lot of things. And we do actually care about health on this channel. It's important. Okay? But apparently, according to William, we shouldn't care about health because that's some kind of problem. Healthism, the belief that health and wellness are the most important thing you can work towards in life, is like a religion in the West. Oh my gosh. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any culture that doesn't value health. So that's weird. This is extra. Secondly, health is important because without it, you don't really have much of anything else. Not everybody is gifted with health all the time, but you can certainly lose it if you don't take care of it. And in many cases, you can regain it as well. I have regained my health through losing weight, for example. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm able to post daily this year. That's why I can do this, because I'm healthier. I wasn't healthy last year. I couldn't do it. And I'm not even as healthy as I could be, but I'm so much better than when I was super morbidly obese that I can be here. I can do this. So remember, health is not necessarily a static thing, but it is worth pursuing. And often, the less healthy you are, the stricter you should be. It's only logical because you want to take care of yourself. But its followers do not actually care about any individual's health, though they might claim otherwise. Healthism in practice tends to focus on the aesthetics of health rather than your blood test results. There's a lot more than blood test results. There's quality of life. There's life expectancy. There's a lot of other stuff. Remember, weight loss is a practical decision for people who are overweight. It is something practical to do. Practical to do. It's a practical decision that should be made calculatedly in a calm state of mind. Remember that. Should be a calculated decision made in a calm state of mind because it is practical. That's my spell. Okay. Anyways, as executed by our society, a thin and muscular appearance is all health is. No, not on this channel. You are given a moral mandate to become and remain healthy. Read thin and muscular. And if you do not, you are not afforded as much privilege as those who do. Ooh. No, I'm not going to comment on gym bro issues from my current standpoint. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. But there is such a thing as overtraining. There is such a thing as undereating. There is such a thing as using certain stuff that I don't agree with. I'm very into natural. Okay? There's a lot of questionable things behind being thin and muscular that I would not support. But again, it doesn't make sense for me to make videos about that at this current point. Okay? Maybe when I am thin and muscular, maybe then I'll talk about it. Which again, it will really upset William if I would get there. Just saying. But I talk about where I'm at because that's what makes the most sense to me. Okay? Marketing weight loss is therefore easy. You sell people the idea that they can gain more privilege through putting through putting their time, energy, and money into weight loss. I just want you to know this is a toxic ritualistic mindset. Be careful. Be very careful with that. because it doesn't always come. It doesn't. And in fact, there's a lot of people that gain the weight back because what they imagined it would be is not the reality of what it is. So I always try to keep my expectations pretty mid or even low, because as much as losing weight can change you, it also doesn't. So a lot of the problems you still will have post weight loss. And I know that from having lost quite a bit of weight already. Okay. You can tell them that weight loss is achievable if they can just commit. It is their fault when the diet doesn't work or stops working. There's this very interesting concept that is not toxically ritualistic. It's the idea of being able to pivot. As I've said, there have been many steps on this journey where I've had a different macro profile through many different phases. And again, this is individual. There are some people who have a higher carb, lower fat diet. They do well. They stick to it. That's it. There are some people who have a higher fat, lower carb diet. They do that. They do well. They don't change. Then there are people like me who change. I've had to go through many, many different phases, sometimes high protein, sometimes low fat, sometimes high fat, sometimes high carb, low carb, etc. And I just do it because I listen to my body, but I keep it within the caloric deficit of what's necessary, and I make sure I'm getting enough calcium and vitamin C, and I make sure I get some protein, obviously, and like certain things. I try to make sure the diet is balanced, but that balance can shift as necessary. And that has been one of the most helpful things on a physical level in this weight loss journey, because I used to believe I would have to stay the same the whole time, and that's not true. So it just depends on you. Your clue is if you're hungry. If you're hungry, truly physically hungry, then you need to shift your macros. And if your calories are too low, then you might need to go up a bit. It's okay to just lose 1 pound a week. We need to normalize these things because it doesn't matter how fast you do it. It matters that it's done. And again, it matters where the wind is blowing. Which way is the willow blowing? That's what matters. Okay? Because you'll get there. Anyways. The people who tell you this have likely never been in a larger or fat body in their whole adult life. But if any weight loss method worked long term, wouldn't they be out of business? What is it that keeps people coming back? I have an answer. It's like I don't even want to get into it, but I'll put it to you this way. There are a lot of people within toxic ritualistic behaviors that are addicted to dieting, that are addicted to the process. They're addicted to the obsession with it, to the obsession with the process and the failure of it or the success of it. They're addicted. So they always have to do that, or they always have to be on that journey because they don't want to think about something else. And that's a problem. That is toxically ritualistic, okay? It's not good. Guess what happens when I'm done losing the weight, you guys? I just live my life. You know, I'm still going to care about this cause and I'm still going to talk about this cause. But as far as me personally, I just eat the foods that I eat and I just move on with my life. You know, and I'm going to have to work with that a bit, I think, in my mid phase, because it's going to be really weird to not be fat anymore. That's something I'm going to have to consider. And I'm going to have to process and make sure that I adjust as I go so that, again, I do the mental work so that I'm okay and so that I don't go back, because you protect your progress in that way. You should protect your progress on a mental level. Okay. If weight loss were simple and diets work, the industry would not be nearly so profitable. It makes money because it doesn't work. So in some cases, this is true. If something is totally unsustainable or just weird, it probably is this. Probably. This kind of failure rate from a product or service is something we would never accept from any other industry. But do remember, you don't need a program or whatever. You just need something to track your calories and figure out your basal metabolic rate and just figure things out. Do a little bit of experimentation with it and go from there. That's all you need. And there's plenty of free things that enable you to do that. If a store sold you a phone that worked for a few days and then they stopped working, you would not blame yourself and you would likely ask them for a refund. If they told you it was your fault, not theirs, you would be rightfully angry. Yes, but if you throw that phone into water and then it doesn't work, then it is kind of on you, isn't it? If you found out that the same thing happened to 95% of people who bought those phones and the company just offered you a replacement phone as compensation, you would say no and never shop there again. You might even sue. Why do we accept this level of failure from the diet industry? All they do is fail upward. When their promises of weight loss don't work, they tell us it's our fault. We believe them, and then we do it all again. The truth of the matter is that if diets worked, you wouldn't have to commit to one every January. Setting out on an impossible mission is a recipe for feeling like a failure. It isn't impossible, William. That's where you got it wrong. Is a recipe for feeling like a failure when it inevitably doesn't yield the results you want. It's not impossible. Maybe this is the year to choose to embark on a possible mission. Maybe this is the year you don't embark on any mission. Wow, okay. I am very interested in William's total anti-ambition mindset. Like, that's pretty wild to me. You might even set off on a different impossible mission that leaves you feeling unaccomplished, but hopefully you're able to recognize that the problem was the mission and its impossibility, not you. But don't set yourself up for feeling failure by resolving to lose weight again this year. It's likely to not happen. It's not likely to happen. It doesn't need to happen, and that's okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Not him referencing Aubrey. Ugh. Oh my gosh. Look at this. I am telling you guys. Did I not tell you? He is a student of Aubrey, the high priestess of fat acceptance. Oh my gosh. Dude. We're done. I'm done. The more that you say, the less I know. The more that you stray, I don't follow. Period. Remember, that's not my man, okay? But anyways, we are done. We have concluded this portion of the Eras Tour. I have to go underneath the stage, and I forgot what came after Evermore because that was from 2023, and I'm a rusty Swiftie right now. I got too much on my mind. I listened to that woman enough, I promise. Let's see. Let me just, before I go, let's have a little bit of a gay moment. There has to be, I was just listening to Mad Woman. Right before I filmed this. I was like, I know it hasn't been long. It hasn't. But anyways, you guys, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your day, night, etc. And hopefully it warms up tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be like 40 degrees, which that's a little bit better. I can handle it. I can hang. I'm like, okay, 40 degrees. I can deal. I can hang. I can deal with it. I can deal. Okay. Maybe I won't have to break out, all this. But maybe I will. You know I will. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to stop. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.